Hello friends, and welcome to the Hanged Man in the Moon. If this is your first time here, welcome. I'm pleased to meet you. Thank you for coming. If you've been here before, thank you for returning. It's a true honor. Friends, let me give you a little insight into the process of this video. Last week I did my first Lenormand reading on camera regarding living the intentional life, as usual. I decided to do another Lenormand reading this week because I saw a new spread or a new way of integrating cards presented by Kelly at Truth and Story. A link to her channel will be below. And I wanted to use that for one of my readings. I'd like to practice with it, if you will. So what I did is I have chosen two decks. One is the Piatnik Lenormand. Let me show you the front. The Piatnik Lenormand, which is a reproduction of a deck produced in the late 1800s. Yep, after 1850, probably. It's readily available. It's very inexpensive, and there will be a link below if you want to get it for yourself. The other deck I'm including is a Marseille deck, which is the Tarot Sopraffino, which is from Italy around 1830, so before the Lenormand deck. And it's a beautiful set of cards, and it's also mass market, a little more expensive than the Lenormand. But if you want to get the Italian Marseille-style deck, there will be a link below, and also information at the end of the video. So, what I decided to do was do a variation of the spread that Kelly at Truth and Story presented. She used a 9-card spread with 4 tarot cards. And then she would also pull an oracle for her, she calls it her 3 voices reading. What I'm doing is a 6-card Lenormand reading, which is an interesting reading because what you do is you shuffle the deck, you cut it into 3 piles, and then for the top row, you pick the top card from each pile, and then for the bottom row, you pick the bottom card from each pile, making 6 cards. For Kelly's spread, she used a 9-card spread, but I went down to a 6-card spread, and then I pulled 4 Tarot de Marseille style cards, 1 for fire, 1 for air, 1 for water, 1 for earth. And that helps to round out the message of the Lenormand reading. And then I did a 9-card spread regarding what I believe to be the central card of the first spread. So, friends, the spreads have been laid. I'm talking a lot about them. So, let's take a look at the first 6-card spread with Tarot de Marseille. Friends, look at this spread. Isn't it interesting? The first card of a Lenormand spread always gives us the main message. And the main message of this spread is the bear. Now the bear is a card of Fortitude, well, is sometimes a card of a boss or a superior at work. Not the highest person, but our immediate supervisor. Not in this spread, I don't think. It can also be a strong male presence, the kind of strong male presence that is someone you can lean on, someone you can rest your head on and a shoulder to cry on, if you will. It can also be the kind of man that is good to cuddle with, a cuddle bear. I don't think that's the bear's meaning in this spread. In this spread, the bear is also a sign of inner strength, of fortitude. And when we want to live an intentional life, we want to have inner strength, inner fortitude, because of what Abraham Hicks calls the buffer of time. Now, from the time we make a decision and we get excited about something, That's the moment that the flow of our intention. Now, the flow of our intention is always shifting to include the new things we want to experience in our life, the new manifestations we want to have, the things we want to create, whether those are a relationship, a better relationship with the person we are currently engaged with, if a job, a home, a more beautiful home, a different home in a different place. Whether it's a creative project like art or music or theater, something that I'm interested in. Anything that we want to manifest in our experience, a vacation. There's usually a buffer of time between the time of making the decision and it manifesting. And that helps us, because if every single thought that we had manifested before our eyes immediately, we would be overwhelmed with stuff, and a lot of it, maybe most of it, stuff that we don't really want. Having that time gives us time to reconsider, to change, to modify the decisions we've made. And that's wonderful. And to survive, to move through that buffer of time, we need inner fortitude. So this is the main idea of this spread. And if we look at the crossing cards, the bear and the coffin together are one pair. And we can see that the buffer of time can sometimes stagnate or weaken or bring an end to our inner fortitude. Now, sometimes, even though we have the best intentions of living life intentionally, we lose our fortitude. We lose our ability to open up and have faith and trust in the flow, the powerful flow of intention. Now, the next two pairing cards are the birds and the bouquet. Now, the birds are sometimes communication, verbal communication, and sometimes they are nervous energy or chattery kinds of feelings, that nervous, anxious kind of chattering is another part of the bird card. So we can see that the birds can sometimes unsettle our belief in our good fortune, can unsettle our trust in our happiness, can disturb our happiness. So a weakened fortitude will lead to nervousness, which will result in a sense of unstable fortunes or unstable happiness. So now this is a 6-card layout. The first row, the upper row, is our most conscious message, the thing that we are most aware of. The one below is something that might be below our conscious. It could be unconscious. It could be something that we're not aware of. But here, let's just put it as something less than conscious, something below the surface that we could and might want to focus on or give attention to. So the top row, the bear, the mice, and the birds, shows us that over time, as we hope to maintain our open, happy attitudes to the flow of our intention, often nervousness or uncertainty enter in. And that uncertainty will start eating away, like mice eat away at grains in a grain house, stored wheat or stored rice. Mice will eat away at that. So our nervousness, our uncertainty will eat away at our fortitude, the fortitude that we want to have to remain open to the flow of our intention. And below that, under that, we see that this uncertainty brings the message to us that we aren't really as happy as we hope to be. Our luck isn't as good as we think it is. Now, the coffin is an ending, and the writer is a message. So we get a message of stagnation or of endings to our bouquet, our happiness, to our joy, our sense of good fortune. So often as we try to live the intentional life, as we try to keep into a higher emotional level, incidents around us unsettle us, cause nervousness, which slowly brings us down the emotional scale from love, joy, well-being, to maybe belief, to maybe uncertainty, to maybe insecurity. And that starts to eat away at our core, at our fortitude. Now, let me show you this spread once more, because the Marseille cards have a little bit more information for us. Let's take a look. I keep saying Marseille cards, but they aren't Marseille cards. They are Marseille style cards, but they're actually Italian cards. They're Italian cards from Milan, the Sopraffino, which eventually became the Marseille decks. So, in this Sopraffino deck, the first card in the upper left is, again, fire, and that is the Ten of Swords. The Ten of Swords reminds us that those thoughts, those binding thoughts, those thoughts of anxiety, those thoughts that make us feel like we're not moving, we're not flowing in the path of our intention, that we want to break free of those thoughts, and we can. We have the power. We have the fire. Now, this is the fire section. We have the fire to break free of those thoughts, to attain harmony between our thoughts and our heart. And when we have harmony between, we Westerners put our thoughts here and our emotions here, right? That's not global, but we can have harmony between our thoughts and our heart. And when we can achieve that, then we can move our thought into action. We can make that transition of inspired action with passion, with our fire element. Looking to the upper right, we have air, which is normally our suit of thought. Now, it was interesting. In the fire side, we have an air card. In the air side, we have the devil. Might be a little bit of a fire element there. Yeah, the devil, fire, very related. But here, the devil in this set of cards, different from the Rider-Waite-Smith Tarot devil. This is a card of passion. Yeah, our thoughts, if we can impassion our thoughts, if we can bring a harmony between, again, our mind and our hearts, our passion and our thoughts, we will be able to align some of the inner contradictions that we have. Yeah? The nervousness we have is a result of unalignment. And so to resolve that nervousness, to raise our emotional state closer to love, joy, well-being, we need and we want alignment. And the devil is a sign that we want to realign ourselves. We also want to uncover our hidden powers. Yeah? The devil card is a symbol of hidden strength that is below ground in our unconscious. Yeah? The devil here is a sign of our inner strength that can help us to align our thoughts and our hearts. Now let's look down to the water element. And in the water element, we have a water card, the Page of Cups. Now the Page of Cups in Marseille, and also the Sopraffino, is a card of ambivalence. Yeah, he's got this cup. It's something new. It's interesting, but is it good? Is it bad? Do I do this with it? Do I do that with it? The page is an uncertain card. He's got some new toy, this one an emotional toy, a new emotional tool, and he's not quite sure what to do with it. He's ambivalent about how to use it and what the results are going to be. And that is part of that uncertainty, the nervousness of the birds in the Lenormand cards. So what we need to do is understand our feelings better. What we want to do is to grow in knowledge and understanding of our emotional state. If we do that, if we grow in awareness, we can perhaps catch those times when we start edging towards uncertainty and insecurity before they get out of hand, before they start to eat away at our inner fortitude. So the Page of Cups is showing us that we have the possibility to nip the weed in the bud, to nip that anxiety in the bud. And then finally, lower left, we have the Earth suit. And here we have an Earth card in an Earth suit. We have the Two of Pentacles, or the Two of Discs, the Two of Coins. And that is the card of an embryonic, a newly begun stage of manifestation. So, as we keep our emotions under observation and learn more about them and have a deeper understanding of what our true emotional state is without whitewashing them, without covering them over with false positivity, we want to delve into the depths of our emotions to understand them so that we can catch those times when we start to waver before we start to topple. And if we do that, then we will have a new opportunity and a new embryonic state of manifestation available for us. We will have what? Well, the Two of Coins is also showing us that this is not a direct path. That's what I'm trying to say. The Two of Coins is also showing us that it is probably not going to be a direct path. Yeah? The flow of our intention is like a river, not a straight line from here to there. It hits many, many points of manifestation that we have already decided. So it's a winding path and takes time. So the Two of Coins, the Two of Discs, is reminding us that as we learn about our emotions, as we align our minds and our hearts, we also want to remember that this is going to be a path of manifestation. It's not a direct line. It was going to wind around other manifestations that we've already decided for ourselves. So friends, after looking at this intense and amazing reading, I wanted to know more about that bear card. So I did a 9-card spread. Let me show you what came up. The 9-card spread around the bear. Now this is an interesting spread, isn't it? This is a very interesting spread. I call it a 9-card spread, but did you count? There are only 8 cards. There's a reason for that. Yeah? I've told you how I dealt out a 9-card spread often in the last video, so I won't cover that again. But the bear showed up near the bottom of the deck. There were only 3 other cards after the bear. And the last card was the coffin. So I decided not to pull a card for the last spot. That coffin card is our punctuation point. It's our strong period at the end of a sentence. So I decided not to pull the last card. Let's leave that blank and empty. So this spread, the upper left-hand card is an anchor card. So that's the main idea of this spread around our inner fortitude. And the anchor card is usually a card of work, a card of our jobs, our daily life, but it's also a card of stability and routine. So our inner fortitude wants stability. Now our inner fortitude wants stability. And this anchor card, because we have the blank space, doesn't have a pair. So that is a strong, individual, standalone idea for this spread alone, the anchor card. And then the other 2 pairings are the star cards and the heart. which means that our fortitude, our inner strength, is going to be a way for us for our dreams to come true, for us to receive guidance in moving on the path of our intention. And guidance which is related to love, loving what we do. Loving what we do will be the guidance that we want to move us along the path, to open us up to the power of our intention and strengthen our inner fortitude. Now, the first three cards above, very important cards, very important cards. There are above cards. And we have the stars, the sun, the most positive card in the deck, and the anchor. So, our guidance. The sun is our guidance. Our happiness, our joy, our growth is our guidance. Yeah? And the growth, a routine, stable growth, is our guidance for moving with the power of our intention. And that will reinforce our inner fortitude, our inner strength. On the sides of the bear, we have, on one side we have the woman card, and on the other side we have the moon card. The moon card can be intuition. The woman card, because here we're not actually speaking of another person. I'm not reading for another person and their partner. This, in this case, is a card of also intuition. Now, our intuition is going to guide us with our fortitude to live our intentional life. Our emotions are the key to leading an intentional life. And this spread is reinforcing that very strongly. And our fortitude is strengthened by our emotions, by our intuition, by our recognition of who we want to be, of our love for what we are doing. And if you have a side gig, if you have a side job, a passion job, that might be different from your actual job of earning an income. For example, some of us have a job where they earn money and then have a side passion business where they create things that they love, and it's a job for love, not for income. So if you've got one of those, that can also be a source of strength for your inner fortitude. It can be that love of your work will strengthen you internally. And then below, we have the heart, full stop. Yeah? The heart in the coffin, period. Because following the path of an intentional life is following the path of heart. It's following the path of love. Love is the highest emotion. Love, gratitude, and joy are the highest emotions. Now, the heart card is the highest emotion. It's the most open state. And when we are the most open, when we are the most loving, then we are flowing fully with the powerful force of intention. And in that state, we have the certainty, the fortitude of the bear. So, to live the intentional life, manifesting our inner bear, living a life of love, is the key. It's the absolute key. And that's what both of these spreads was showing to us. And also that there are times when the buffer of time is going to cause a little uncertainty and start to eat away at that fortitude. So we want to be open to feeling when that's beginning. We want to be able to recognize when that begins so that we can make an adjustment. We can do what we need to do to stabilize our emotional self, to align our hearts and our minds. So friends, what do you think? Does that mean anything to you? Did you realize anything? I realized a lot reading this spread. Did you realize anything? Does that ring true for you? If it does, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. I'd love you to hit the like button if you feel inspired, and share this with someone who might be interested in Lenormand or leading an intentional life. Subscribe if you want to know when I upload videos. I usually upload at least one video a week, so subscribe if you want to find out. And also, remember, I will be showing you a little information about the decks at the end of the video, so stay tuned. And as always, friends, I wish you love, joy, well-being, and pure awareness. Thank you.